but feel your goals you think
Awesome.
for your training. What he says syncs
So
well
let's do a little
habits.
housekeeping real quick. I'm going to go ahead and mute Steven since he's busy cooking. But if you wouldn't mind, there'll be an opportunity for us to just go ahead and mute yourselves. There'll be an opportunity for you to unmute yourself. So as we get started, I think it'd be cool to see who everybody is. Just your name, kind of where you're from. If you're married and got kids, something like that, something real quick, since we've got so many guys on here. I think it'd be awesome to see where everybody's from and go from there. So I'll start and then I'll pick someone and then we'll just kind of round robin. You, after you're done, just pick somebody else on the string. I think it'd be cool until we're all done. So I'll let Hal in real quick. There we go. All right, so Tim Douglas, I think most of you know me. If not, I live in the upstate of South Carolina, married 28 years, 3 kids, all successfully out of the house for the most part. We got one that we're have here just for a little bit, and she's always said, "What's your exit plan?" So she'll be exiting soon too. So anyway, that's myself. So let's see, who else do I want to pick? Let's go John Shibley.
Hey, what's up, guys? I guess I'm the new one to the group. Looks like most of y'all know each other. So I live in Houston, Texas, suburb of Houston, and got to meet Jeff and Tim through a mutual friend, and had them both on my podcast. I think I've been on Tim's, and so it's just kind of snowballed from there. And I wanted to take a step out here and just kind of get to know some new guys and get involved in something like this. They speak highly of this council, and so you guys are good people. If you know them and like them, then you're good people to me. So I guess I'll push it over to Jeff.
Okay, I'm Jeff Forrester. I'm in Orlando, Florida. I don't know if you can hear the fireworks from Disney going off right behind me. But I've been married for 15 years and I have a 13-year-old son and an 11-year-old daughter. And Tim and I started the Mighty Warrior Council back in 2020. Oh, no. Yeah. Yep. No, 2021.
Well, we kind of started in 2020, right at the tail end. So yeah, close enough.
These 2 years have been a blur. I don't know. And then I'll go with Chris.
Everybody, Chris Fabish. I live in New Jersey, Midland Park, just about 20 minutes outside of New York City. Been part of the council since last January, so about a year. And so I'm excited to see a lot of familiar faces and some new ones too. So I will. I've been married 15 years, 3 kids, 11, 9, and 6. And I'll kick it over to Brad.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Brad Lord. I live in Macon, Georgia, and I have been involved in Mighty Warrior Council since Chris has, since I guess January of last year. So coming up on a year. Awesome to see some new faces. So I hope y'all enjoy tonight's call. Let's see, I'll pick Stephen.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm Steve Vanderlinden. I live in Peoria, Arizona. Married almost 21 years. Or no, wait, it's 2022. I have been married 21 years. I'll be 22 on April 8th. 2 kids, 16 and 13. And the oldest is my daughter, Taylor. She's got volleyball. Son does BMX. I think I only sat in one call last year, but looking to start up with Warrior now and going forward. So that's all I got.
You probably, if you're on the phone, I can pick somebody because I know it's hard on the phone.
Forgot about that.
All right, let's go with John.
Oh, thank you.
Is that me? Am I the John? I am John Cox.
FJ Endurance. How's that?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that actually BMFJ. This is my partner, Becca. I live together. We live in Nashville, Tennessee. We're unwed, and she has a daughter that is 12 going on 17. So that's fun. I've been in the council for a couple months. We put on a couple races here in Tennessee, and I've got a company that makes fire starters. I am the company that makes fire starters.
Being specific.
Yeah, being specific, I am that company. I think Brian Jodis, if he hasn't gone, is next on my list.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Excited to be here. Brian, 40, out of Apex, North Carolina. I put my town in there just to make it easier. I was
Nice.
wondering what the over-under would be of guys who host podcasts on this call. So we're at least one. I'll be another one. Jeff was on with me. Got to know him over the last year. Wife of 15 years in April. We have 2 daughters. They are 10 and 6. And yeah, man, that's what we got going on here. Excited to be here, man. Little Proverbs 27:17 action happening with this group. So so thrilled about the chance to toe the line with you guys in whatever this journey will take us on to. There's a guy with a hell of a beard on here, Ben. I mean, dude, I gotta pass it to my bearded brethren. That thing is legit.
Maybe the camera adds something to the beards, I guess. So my name's Ben Thomason from Ellensburg, Washington. Married for probably about 19 years or so. Got 2 kids, teenage son, and a daughter will be 8 next week. And I am celebrating 8 years of sobriety today. So
Awesome.
that's what's special about
That's
me.
awesome.
So then I'll pass it off to Justin.
What's up, guys? My name is Justin Shealy. I'm from Carrollton, Georgia, which is just west of Atlanta. I've been married almost 14 years. I've got 2 children. I got a daughter that's 10, a son that's 7. And I'm just looking to meet everybody in this group and try to get a little more involved. And just looking forward to hearing from everybody. And I'm going to go with my boy Cornbread.
Cornbread is having some technical difficulties. He'll be back here in just a moment, he said. So,
All right. Well, let me see. Let's see. Let's go with Luke Freshwater.
Everybody, I'm new, first time on a call. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I've been married almost 10 years. I have 5 kids, and they're all little. My first 4 are all girls. I have a 6-year-old, twin 3-year-olds, and a 2-year-old. And then we finally welcome a boy into the family, and he's 14 weeks old.
woohoo.
So that's me.
Middle name Busy.
Yeah, that's for sure. As I have spit up on my shirt, by the way.
So pick someone else, Luke.
Oh yeah, Michael.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, there's more than Michael. Michael Craven.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there we go. There's always more than one Michael there. Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. I'm one of the new guys as well. I'm right outside of Memphis, Tennessee, Germantown. Been here about 16 years. I've got a 17-year-old son in high school and a 20-year-old daughter at UT Knoxville. So, I recognize a few of you guys from the 3-7 deal. Been doing a bunch of their stuff this last year and met Tim and Jeff at the Mid-State Mile, and of course John there as well. But looking forward to getting to know the rest of you. And speaking of 3-7, I'll throw it over to Hal. I met him back at the proving ground of one troop. Take it away, Hal.
It's on this iPad. I apologize for being late. I'm technologically awful. I need everybody in tech to slow down for about 2 years and take a vacation on that. So apologize. First, let me say that 2 of our members here tonight, Brad and Justin, I wasn't present for the call after the proving ground, but they crushed it there. So absolutely crushed it in every aspect, and success and failures and how they handled themselves. So it was awesome. You guys should be super proud of them.
Absolutely.
My name's Hal. I live in Delaware. I'm 45. Been married almost 12 years, 2 kids, 10 and 6. Been part of this group for a few months, really enjoy it. If I can get better at tech, I'll enjoy it even more on that. If we could, I got to ask a quick prayer, like literally right before I came on here. They just took my father-in-law to the hospital with high blood pressure, super high and severe chest pain. So we're just kind of waiting and seeing right now what's going on. So if we could take 30 seconds and pray on that, I'd appreciate it.
Let's do it. You want to pray for him and we can all agree, or?
Yeah, that's good with me. So, dear Lord, just thank you for the opportunity for this group to pray and lift my father-in-law Wayne up. We just ask that you be with the doctors now, that they can find out what's going on, that you will be with Wayne and give him comfort and get whatever it is under control, Lord, and get his heart fixed and blood pressure down, and give my mother-in-law strength while she's there with him, that everything would run smoothly, that she's able to actually get in and be with him. And we just ask for your hand in all of this, Lord, and heal him. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Hal.
Yeah. All right. Who hasn't gone? Since I got on late.
You're on the phone, so I can pick somebody for you.
Okay.
Can you see everybody?
I can. I'm on the iPad, but it's
Okay,
it's
cool.
not good for Zoom.
Let's go with William.
Hey guys, my name is Bill. I'm from northern New Jersey. Been married for almost 14 years. Kind of going through just in the beginning phase of a difficult divorce right now. I have 3 kids, 2 boys, 10 and 12, and a daughter that's 7. Very active, very busy in basketball season right now. So I'm just trying to walk my way through. Thank Chris for inviting me here, and just looking forward to getting to know you guys.
Awesome. Glad you're here. Go ahead and pick somebody real quick.
Oh yeah, sorry. I can Anthony Coxey.
Anthony Cooksey, but that's close. Anthony Cooksey. I'm 32. I have a wife and 2 kids. We've been married. Tori, my wife, and I have been married 7 years. We've got a 3-year-old daughter and a son that's 1. This is my first time on the call. I know a decent amount of you guys on here, and I'm fired up about it. Oh, I'm living in Ohio. Just moved up here from Oklahoma last year. I'm like 40 minutes south of John. We actually just moved again to Fairlawn, Ohio. We've got like 2 feet of snow, which is
wow,
about 1.5 feet more snow than I've ever seen in my life. So that's fun. I've shoveled the drive like 6 times now. It's getting ridiculous. But yeah, I'm excited to get to know the rest of you guys a little more and dive in real deep. So I'll kick it to John Gardena next.
What's up, guys? It's good to see everybody. John from Cleveland. Been married for 14 years. I have 4 kids. Just first time on the call. Know a lot of faces on the call. It's great to see everybody on here. Fellow podcaster. I see a lot of faces I know, I recognize. John Cox, it's great to see you. See that you're healthier. Cooksey, I appreciate you sending it over to me, and great job, man. I'm so appreciative of everything you're doing on Instagram. And it's about time you start shoveling snow and have a real man's beard now. It's great to see that. Let's go to JD Malone.
Thank you, John. Good to see everybody on here. JD Malone, live in Rockmart, Georgia. Father of 4, ages ranging 22, 19, 15, and 13. I can't believe I got it right, but I did. That'll change in another month. Know a lot of these faces, obviously, and just I've been a friend of Jeff's for a while, and know Tim, know John, know several of you on here. Just looking forward to see what the council is, I believe I was on the first call. Is that right, Jeff? Maybe you remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But just looking forward to it and meeting everybody.
Well, and real quick, JD, before you kick it to anybody, I'll brag on Brody a little bit. So JD's oldest, Brody, is an Olympic gymnast. So he finished 4th in the uneven bars, right?
That's girls.
That's the parallel bars.
I don't know anything about gymnastics other than he was on
bars.
TV.
Yeah, high bars.
That's what
you had it. Yeah, you had it.
I knew it was a bar.
And I think Seth is last. I think that's the only one left on here.
I think Mike's been either. Have you, Mike?
Mike too, yeah.
Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lost you in the mix.
Sorry. Who's going? I'll go. I'll pull up last.
You're
Whoever.
talking. Go for it.
All right. So I'm Mike Outler, 51 years old from Brunswick, Georgia. And I am married for the second time this year, or this time 10 years around. Hasn't tried to kill me yet. Everything's going great. And I've got 2 grown daughters, 25 and 21, and out of the house successfully, thank the Lord. So there is hope for you guys out there. There is hope. I've been in with the council for a number of months now. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been close to a year, less than a year. I know less than Brad has, but just after Brad did. So, yeah, thanks, Brad. Go Dogs. That's it. I don't know who's next, so I'm on.
Let's hear it.
Seth Taylor, 30 years old, from Minot, North Dakota. I work at the oil fields out here. I have a wife of about 10 years, and then I've got a 7-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl. And I am looking forward to see what I could bring. And yeah.
Awesome. Was glad to have you all here. I'm excited to dive in. What we thought, this is actually an idea of the guys inside the council as we started talking about the new year, and it's like, hey, let's open it up, do an open call, because there's a lot of guys who have some questions or are interested. Let's do an open call and give them a kind of a sneak peek into what we do. And so tonight, I had some slides prepared, but I'm just going to skip all that just because for the sake of time, I want to respect everybody's time. We're 23 in right now. So, but I'll give you the overview. So real quick, we're going to talk a little bit about what we talked about on the last call. So we're going to carry it over and do just kind of a typical how we would do our calls. And then we'll kind of do some behind the scenes sneak peek on like what's inside the council, what do you get besides the calls and what's involved in it and that kind of sort of thing. So we'll go ahead and kick it off right now with last call. We talked about setting up our battle plan or creating a battle plan for our year. And we worked through basically I read a book here, I guess last year sometime, it was called the 12-week year. And it's about breaking your goals down instead of a 12-month year down to 12 weeks. And what they found was when people pushed their time into 12 weeks and they only focused on 1 to 3 goals, they were able to accomplish more in those 12 weeks than most people do in a full year. Because if you think about it, most of us, myself included, have set some goals for the year. The year gets going. It's like, oh, I got 10 more months to even, to hit that goal. I got 9 more months. I got 8 more months. I got 6 more months. And then here comes October rolls around. And you're like, oh, crap, I've got to get something done. And so we kick it into high gear. And you guys in sales probably have experienced that where it's like, okay, we got to hit some quotas by the end of the month or the end of the year. And then, so a lot of effort goes in. And I think they actually call that the Parkinson's effect, where the amount of time that you give it is what it'll take. And so like if you give yourself 12 weeks to accomplish a goal and focus on that goal, you're going to accomplish it in that period of time. And the main purpose of it, and I love this, and many of you will understand or probably know this term very well, and it's all about execution. Our brother Chad Wright, execute, right? Having a plan and executing on the plan. And that's what the 12-week plan really does. And so what we did inside the council in the last call is we set, gave everybody a 12-week plan to kind of help them and guide them through their 12 weeks to set up and I'm going to give you a link in the chat so you guys can just copy it. You guys can all have a copy of it. And then in that book, along with the plan, it's great to have a plan, but that you can execute on. But the other aspect of it was accountability and measuring. And one of my coaches has always said, what you don't measure, you don't manage. So it's like, if you're not measuring anything, how do you even know that you're probably not even giving any thought to it? And then the 12-week year says measurement is actually the execution, is kind of the prelude to execution. So if you're measuring something, you're executing on something. So I know for all of us in here, we're all about executing and want to get things done. And so for me, I wanted this year to be a year of executing. And I heard this on a podcast. It might have even been the Order of Man podcast, where it was a guy, I can't even remember his name, but he says, many of us lack the completing things. And he goes, I wanted to be a man of completion, where I completed things. And to do that, it requires us to execute on things, and to execute on something, you have to have a plan to execute. So that came very clear to me when I was training for this 50K that Jeff and I just completed this last weekend. We had a 12-week plan. Thank you, Mr. Gardina. And we every day knew exactly what we had to do. As a matter of fact, my board back here has it down to the week. So I had a 12-week plan, but then on the week, I wrote out what I did every day or what I needed to do. So it was right there in plain. The scripture even talks about that, right? Write it out, make it clear, make it plain. And so that was one of the things that we really are strong in here. We want to help guys execute on their plans. And last year in the council, we started out like that, and we kind of just left it to see how guys would do. And mid-year, we did a check-in, and we were all like, who's executed on their plans? Okay, let's regroup. Let's regroup and see where, how to do this better. So that was kind of where this spurred off from. And so we wanted to open it up because we told the guys inside the council last call that come prepared. And let's maybe share a little bit, like you've worked on your plan a little bit. And it could just be one thing maybe that you've put together. So if the guys inside the council, and I thought it'd be cool, if you are a current member, go ahead and just raise your hand so the other guys will know who you are. So we have John Cox, Mike Outler, Chris Fabish, and Brad Lord, and Hal Carmine. So, so any of you guys that were on the last call, did you guys get a chance to work on that plan? And if not, no biggie, but if you did and you would like to share it, that'd be cool too.
I don't have I don't have one to share, just in terms of sharing my screen or anything like that. But just for myself, talking about the goals from last year, I kind of started a little bit of a side business by my day job is a high school guidance counselor. And on the side, I just started doing some woodworking, and the part of what my goals are this year are to just get really organized with that. A lot of what we talked about on the last call was just, or what I talked about on the last call was just that my monkey brain gets the best of me. And if I, put an idea out there, I don't always follow through on them. And I tend to just kind of think fly by the seat of my pants when it comes to projects and things like that. And so, this year is kind of being devoted to being way more organized with my approach. I've talked with Tim a little bit about, just setting up the business properly, and got my LLC. I've got my business debit card actually just came in the mail today. So I'm trying to get organized with how I am going to approach everything. And 2022 is intended to be the year for that. 2021 was kind of just get things off the ground. And now it's, let's really make this happen and turn this into something. It was kind of just a hobby that, I got connected with an interior designer who asked me to help out with some jobs. And now I want to get more on top of things and organized. And that's, one area that my goals are surrounded around. So, just to kind of kick things off. I mean, I ironically, I haven't written that all down yet, but I'll get there.
Yeah, and it's so important to write stuff down, like Chris was saying. So I put one together, and I've done this before where I'll have 3 different aspects. I'll do business, I'll do my family and personal, and then I'll also do something on the physical side. And then within the personal, I put the spiritual part of it in it as well. So what I was able to do is I put together the business. And so this is, you probably can't see it, but when you download it, this is what the plan looks like. And so it's very basic because, again, you can make this as elaborate as you want to, or you can be as basic as you want. Like you can just use a sheet of paper and you can do one goal for each. So one of the ones that I put on here was with the recent changes that I've had in my career, is that I want to establish my coaching business. And so what I put down, that's one of my goals, is I establish my coaching business as a viable business. And my year end or my 6-month goal is 10 clients. I want to have 10 paid clients. And so the action plan, and this is where Tim and I talked about it, and similar to what Chris is talking about, is chipping away at the to-do list, is listing the things that I want to do. So in the first quarter, I want to have 5 coaching clients by the end of March. And then some of the other tactics around the marketing part is network via social media to generate leads. And I'm going to do that weekly. And then network via my contacts weekly. And then rework some of my courses, or my one course, not some, my one course, and develop more. And then also redo my website. So those are some of the tactics that I have for the first quarter. And then I have timelines for each one. So again, one of the things that's so important when you're looking at your goal is to always have it time bound. Otherwise, it's just in the ether. And like Tim said, you can just keep pushing it and pushing it. But if you have a short-term deadline that you make, then that way you can hold yourself accountable.
Hey, Jeff, can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Do you ever, when writing out sort of that goal and then all the checklists to get there, do you ever include your why at the top of that? Have you ever considered, right? So why do you want to start a coaching business? To constantly be looking at that.
Yep. Yeah. So that's a great point. So for me, is I always create a vision for each one. And it's the why is always that there's no finish line for the why of creating the coaching business. That's to help encourage others to get more out of their life. I'll never reach that finish line. It's always pushing me forward. So I always base everything off of that. So thank you for that question.
And what did you say?
So Brian,
what was it, Jeff? Encourage others to get the most out of their life?
Yes.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, Brian, just to tag onto your point, as part of the plan we have on this goal right here, number 1, what am I wanting? Why am I wanting to achieve? Or what am I wanting to achieve? So getting very clear on what you are wanting to achieve, and then why am I wanting to achieve this? So yeah, it's one of the things that I share with my clients a little while back coming into the year. She was like, I've just been, she realized that I've just been willy-nilly it. I said, yeah, it's hard to execute on willy-nilly. Extremely hard. And so, so that was kind of the point of creating this something simple that we can just put stuff in, know why we're doing it, why we want to achieve it. And then the action plan, and when am I going to have that particular task? And I would say get granular on it. Like, here's the goal, but what are the steps that I'm going to do? Like in the One Thing book, they call it the GPS. Your goal, then it leads to priorities. So you'll have your priorities to achieve that goal, but then what are the strategies that you're going to implement to do that? So just kind of think through some of that process as you write out your action plan. Your action plan is your action steps. Like what's the steps that I'm going to take to achieve this? So does anybody else on here, do you guys use something similar, something like this worked for you guys in the past? Are you using anything? Are you not using anything? Is this helpful, not helpful? I'm just curious. Anybody?
I intend to use it. I'm not very much of a goal planner, especially when it comes to like breaking it down. So there's obviously some things I want to do this year and need to do. So I plan very much to I actually got the book, the 12-week year.
Yep.
So I'm waiting for it to come in. And it's just something I need to concentrate on, especially the way, you know, my life has shifted in the past year to get concrete action on specific goals.
Sweet. Anyone else?
So well, Tim, I was just going to say, for me personally, I've never set a goal. I've never really been goal oriented until last year. I put something on the calendar for the first time and set a goal to run my first race. But still, that's something that I think maybe some people are born with that drive. But clearly there's value in it. And if that's not what you're born with, you got to work on it. So, you know, that's something that I'll kind of need my handheld walk through the process of looking out into the future at things that I can achieve, something that I can monitor and like, you know, actually go after as far as setting a goal. So
now, if I remember, Cooksey, you had talked about early on when I first learned of you on Resurrected that you wanted to be a hunter, right?
Yeah.
When you moved to Ohio. And then you just recently harvested your first animal yourself, right?
Yeah. The little church that I found up here in Ohio, my pastor's like, that guy's he's a freak. He's a super outdoorsman. So he took me steelhead fishing. So got to go stand in the river, 20 degrees.
Yeah.
And caught some fish. That was pretty sweet. And we're gonna go take stands down and he's gonna basically teach me step by step, like a lot about the outdoors. Hopefully get to whitetail hunt for my first time next year.
Sweet.
Now, see, I would say based on your statement last year about your desire to do that, that's setting a goal. So even though you may not have written it down, you had something that you wanted to accomplish. Wasn't necessarily time bound, but you were looking forward to that. And then probably once you decided that, did you start reading? What were some of the steps you took to get to that?
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think of it that way, but yeah, I've spent a crap ton of time reading. So I know a lot of the terminology, but as far as practice, like practically, like I can tell you about a deer rub, but I've never seen one in real life. So yeah, that's interesting. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah. So even though you might not have formally done it, we've all set something that we wanted to accomplish at some point, and we've taken steps to get there. Where Tim and I are hoping to lead everyone is to reveal them some of the formalities of doing that and the benefits of it. And you know, just anytime you can make a plan, then you can set the steps in place. But then you said it earlier, is then the measurement of it. So if you have a plan and it just sits there, it's just a piece of paper. And it's very important to set a scoreboard so that way you can measure your progress. And progress isn't a full swing. It could be 0.001% better than the day before. That's progress. You're moving things forward. There's a great book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you guys haven't read it, it's fantastic. And his theory is 1% better every day. And you could even say 0.5% better. So if you're 1% better every day, by the end of the month, you're 30% better than you were at the beginning of the month. And so just having something that you can measure that's time bound, then that gives you that opportunity to be able to continue to push that. We'll use the football analogy, pushing that football further down the field.
Hey, Jeff,
think-
I got to,
Yeah.
oh, sorry. I was going to say, to your point, you got me thinking now. I'm kind of like Anthony. I haven't been a huge write down a bunch of goals and monitor them throughout the year, but I kind of have a mental idea of where I want to go. But to your point about 1%, like it hit me that I might want to start making like 2 columns and have a realistic goals and then have lofty goals, and then, get momentum built up with some of these realistic goals and where you start achieving things. And then all of a sudden this task over here doesn't seem as daunting. And then you start, I guess, creating momentum. So as you're talking, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should get a little better at just kind of because it gets a little intimidating when you start thinking about goals and you're like, okay, well, that's not big enough goal. That's not a real goal. So then you talk yourself out of it. And then you do this one goal up here that you're never going to hit. Right. So everybody kind of gets frustrated, or I get frustrated. And I'm like, well, I guess that was just not going to happen. So I'm thinking about making 2 separate lists, I guess.
Yeah, John, to your point, the one thing Jay Papistan wrote that book, and one of the things he talked about is many people they're trying to reach this big old humongous goal, right? And the way they talk about it is the domino effect, and what's your 2-inch domino. And what they have found is the domino, we've all seen it as you stack all the dominoes up and it all runs around, it knocks all these dominoes down. But when it's doing that, it's creating joules of energy. And one domino does not have enough energy just to knock over the equal sized domino. It actually quadruples and multiplies. It's this compound effect to where 54 dominoes in, it can knock over a domino the size of the Eiffel Tower. And then I think it's like 60 some in, it's from here to the moon. So starting with a 2-inch domino. And their point is most of us are trying to push over this big goal, this massive thing, instead of breaking this thing down to the 2-inch domino. What's the thing I can do today that'll knock over this thing to the next thing to the next thing? So as you're setting up your big goals, as Batterson would say, set a God-sized goal that, is destined to fail without divine intervention. That's those big ones here. But then what's the things that I can take care of, chunking this thing down? What are the steps that I can do today that gets me closer to this over here? And so one of those aspects that Jeff mentioned, and that is measuring. And so we have a scorecard, and I mentioned it earlier, what you don't measure, you don't manage. And measurement drives the execution process. So we created this little scorecard as well, just to kind of keep score. Am I exercising? Am I keeping my body good? Am I doing my prayer? Am I reading my Bible? Am I journaling? Am I working on my plan? Am I, scoring yourself? How am I taking care of my health, my mental health, my love with my spouse, my family, yada, yada, yada. Where are we at in these? We just kind of go through life haphazardly, and we end up wondering why things aren't kind of coming together for us. And so mainly it's probably because we're not measuring. And I can imagine if the Buccaneers didn't measure things throughout the game yesterday, they probably won't have anything to go back and look at, so I think they're measuring every aspect of the game. And to your point, Cooksey, dude, this right here, John Gardina changed my perspective. I've been one of those guys too, that just kind of creates a goal in my head. And Jeff and I were just talking about this. I have a hard time actually writing it out day by day. Like, what's the steps that I need to do? But this right here, when I had this 12-week plan and I knew what I needed to do on week 7, I didn't have to think about what I needed to do. What are the steps in weeks 2 that's going to get me to week 7? What are the steps in week 3 that's going to actually build the blocks so that come week 12 on Saturday, race day, I'm actually ready, which is the goal. So, but without those steps on week 1, on Monday, week 1, Tuesday, week 1, week 3, without any of those steps in there, I may or may not have hit that goal. chances are I probably would have hit it, but not as well. Or I just may have just flopped altogether. So working this plan right here just lit my eyes up like, crap, man, this works so well for me. It did. I mean, and I know they've written books about it and everything else. So it's got to work for other people. So it's not just, I know that wasn't just for me. So I just thought, that worked well. Why not share it with others, to help them see the same success?
I think, one of the challenges I have, opened the kimono up a little bit, is taking the passion for aggressively pursuing a physical feat like that, TD, right? Like, you're on fire, right? You're going to run this 50K, like, you're on fire. 19-week program, 12-week, whatever, to do that. And taking that same level of passion, something I struggle with, and transferring it to your finances or your family's life or your career, right? I find it's a lot easier for me to map out what 19 weeks preparing for a marathon or a relay or whatever it looks like. And by the way, that's hard work. Like, you suffer through it, but it's just, it's a little bit easier for me personally to prepare for something like that than the daunting task of the other thing. So I think the beautiful thing about a group like this is you get proximity around other men who are likely going through similar scenarios, and you're able to bounce some of that. This document is great. Like, it's a great tool to be able to do it. The key to this brotherhood is being able to help each other, I think, harness that fire to go do the stuff that isn't as fun to plan. Like, it's not as much fun to plan out, like your financial growth, as it is maybe just for me, right? That's the harder thing for me to do, than it is stuff like that.
You nailed it. And that's what this is. This isn't just for the race fun. This isn't just for the physical feats. This is for being the dad that we want to be. This is for being the husband that we want to be. This is for being the business owner that maybe you desire to be. Brad, Chris, you guys who started businesses this past year, like, they didn't have that before. Like, that's the cool part about, like you said, having people around you that's not fun. It's not easy. That's hard stuff. And so being around others that kind of have that to kind of help you stay focused on that vision is the key. And so, and I would say, like Jeff did, is maybe I have one for my business side and I have one for the personal, because I need to, my personal is broken down into 3 areas: body, soul, and spirit. How am I going to build my body? How am I going to take care of my mind and my emotions? And then how am I going to build my spirit, man? And so, but then
Tim, I'm sorry. I just wanted to, with goal setting, make sure we're cognizant too. I've been a goal setter my entire life, and what it resulted in with a lot of things was not a fear of failure. That doesn't exist for me. It's a fear of success, that once you get that goal accomplished, now what, right? So really, over the last few years, I look forward more to whatever it takes during that process than the actual result. I mean, obviously you want to succeed, but when I look back on business or the kids, or even like running 100, the best part was the training for that in all of that process. So I don't want to lose sight that, not that anybody would be like me, but I'd get done and like, all right, now what's next? And if you always have that what's next, you never took the time to appreciate and learn what God was trying to teach you during that process, the successes and failures during that. So that's my 2 cents on that.
My mentor, Jim Rohn, would say it's not the goal that you're achieving, it's the person that you're becoming while you're, seeking to achieve that goal. It's like, who are you becoming? What are you learning? What is God doing to teach you, as you said, Hal? So I love that. Any other questions before we transition? I know we're bumping up against time, so I just want to be mindful, but I do want to hear from anybody else that's got any thoughts.
I think Brian brought up a good point about, kind of the passion behind the goal. You sign up for a race or whatever it is, or growing your business. Say you want to get 500 sales, or you want to run a 50K. Passion for that first goal is going to take you a really long way. But once you've reached that mark, and so the next year is you just want to increase sales by 10% or 20%, or you want to run another 50K or do it a little bit faster. Without that structure, to me, as I look at it, of the incremental and itemized goal, it's a lot easier to fall off and not hit it. Because your passion gets you in the door. Like that makes the training program a lot easier the first time. The second time, you either feel like you don't need to follow it as strictly because you already know what you're doing, or you're not as enthused about doing it. So I think that the structure behind it all is really going to be beneficial.
Yeah,
At least
because
for
week
me.
10 and 11 of a 12-week program is not
Gonna
fun.
say, I didn't, yeah, some of those did not see.
I was ready. I was done.
Yeah. 100%.
That takes me back to the proving grounds, actually, talking about the passion. Hal might remember this. I think it was James Ward said something like the platoon I was in, I guess we were about 5 minutes shy from completing the task, but I'm not going to give too much away about that. But those last few minutes, we kind of figured things out, and we all had a lot of passion for it. And we were all hungry and going for it. And then at the end, we did a lot of like debriefing and stuff. And he was like, man, if like y'all had that much passion, just an ounce of passion the whole time, imagine what you could do. And like he went on to say about like how you can take that in your own life. Like just if you just like the normal tasks you go through, just imagine if you put a little bit of passion in it, like what that could become. So I just, and you have to have a little bit of passion when you're doing running on week 10. That's tough stuff right there. You're not lying about it.
Yeah, Brad, and you bring up a really good point. There's a really good book. It's by Brother Lawrence. It's called Practicing in the Presence of God. And it's exactly behind that is everything that you do to glorify God. Doesn't matter if you're mopping the floor, taking out the garbage, if you're building $1 billion business, everything that you do, you bring that same level of passion. And after I read that book, it was a game changer for me. It really has changed my approach to everything that I do, because I'm very aware of that aspect that I need to give God glory in every single thing that I do. So that way I show up, and I show up no matter what, whether I'm going to have success or not. That's sometime not necessarily determined. Yes, Brian, I'll make sure I put that in there. That not necessarily, I might not accomplish it because it may be outside of my hands, but then at the end, I can look back and say, did I give everything that I had? And as long as I can answer that question, then it was a success, because again, we're not always going to hit the goal that we wanted to hit in the time frame that we wanted to hit it in. But it's like in the 50K, I didn't hit the time goal that I wanted, but I look back, I moved my legs as fast as I possibly could for as long as I possibly could. And where I'm disappointed, I know that I left it out there. And now it's back to work and figuring out what are the things that I need to do to get better for the next go around. So Brad, thank you for mentioning that.
Could I touch on something real quick?
Yeah.
Just kind of go back. Is it Anthony who's moved to Ohio? Is it? I think.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Well, I know you mentioned about running a race and setting a goal. I mean, I think that's a great way to start, because you just have a date, you sign up for the race, you're committed, and you sign up for it. Even with hunting, you got deer season, when it's going to start. You kind of have a time frame where you can harvest a deer, and you got plenty of time during the summer to practice. And, where there's archery or firearm, you got time to get your sights ready and stuff like that. So there's different goals you can set along throughout the year for that. And I was just going to touch on, I've been in this group for a year now, and I'm pretty much introverted most of my life. So, but doing this group, I've been able to kind of share things that really only people that are real close to me know. And I was able to share it on Tim's podcast, and it was a lot of freedom in that. Also, I mean, I've been kind of a big thing for me has been to just taking action. And, if I have a vision or a goal, just not sit around and dream about it, but like act on it. And so that's kind of what last year was for me. It was like just taking action. And I don't think I would have did it without this group. So I just want to, say thank you to Jeff and Tim for getting this all together. But also I want to say that to encourage, other guys that are considering coming along this journey.
Hey, I want to just echo what Brad said to elaborate a little bit on passion from the other side, which you saw it, Brad, when a specific moment when things changed for you guys. So from the outside looking in as an instructor, it was like night and day, the passion. Now you guys were smiling, you were having a good time, the energy was there, and you gelled as a team. Yet the work got exponentially harder from that point on for a little bit. But the passion was there for that. So not only in physical challenges, but think about that in terms of life and with your family. Are you leading your family with that type of passion and teamwork? Things are going to get hard and harder. But that's just a great carryover that I saw from the other side that was glaring. That's funny you brought that up, Brad, from that. So.
Yeah, something I want to tag on to Hal and Jeff. You said something that made me search for it, and it was just in goal setting or preparing to be, who we're called to be or whatever. This verse stuck out to me early on in this process of this training for this 50K, because we were submitting our workouts to within a group. There was like 4 of us in this text thread, and so you get to see everybody's heart rate, their mileage, the times that they're running, yada, 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 right? So it's quick and easy to compare yourself with what others are doing. And so whether it's this group, whether it's social media or whatever, whether it's in a physical feat or whether it's how, to your point, with, how am I as a husband to my wife? How is my home? I can compare myself to a friend and how their home looks from the outside, right? But this verse here stood out to me, and I kept telling myself this over and over and over and over. And I would say this sometimes even out on the course when I'm out training, and it's Galatians 6, 4 through 5. Galatians 6, 4 through 5. And I'm going to read the NLT, New Living Translation. It says here, pay careful attention to your own work. Pay careful attention to your own work, for then you will get the satisfaction of a job well done, and you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else. That's 4. Number 5, verse 5 says, for we are each responsible for our own conduct. And I would say we're each responsible for our own work. And so that we put in to our plan, to being the husband that we're supposed to be, the dad, whatever it may be for you, and it's easy for us to like get caught up in trying to achieve certain goals to compare against, like, how did I do against so-and-so or whatever. But I just wanted to point that out too. Like, let's be careful, pay careful attention to our own work, or then we'll have the satisfaction of a job well done. And so that was Galatians, in case you guys missed it, Galatians 6, 4 through 5.
Dude, keep going, and let us not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Like, keep going.
Keep going.
Don't stop. Keep going. Even when you hit hard times through the course of your foot started hurting the other day, right, Tim?
Yep.
But you kept going, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, I know we're right against the time, so I want to one last thing. Well, Jeff, did you want to talk a little bit about the council before I show them the kind of the platform?
Well, before I do that, as I know Brad had mentioned something about what he got from the council, and I just wanted to give any of the other guys an opportunity to share, like they did last week, of anything that they took from 2021 and how the council helped them.
I'll go real quick. I'm pretty similar to Brad in being pretty much an introvert. I don't have a lot of close guy friends. Like I've got a ton of people I'm connected to, but like people that I really just have like that. There's very few, and not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that there's any issue with that. but for me to be connected even through a computer to the 10 other guys that have been in the council has been, I mean, it's transformed my life, and it's taken time for me. Like, a lot of it has been me being willing to open up and put myself out there, and just kind of, whether it's just sending a message in the group chat, or speaking up when maybe I'm just not feeling comfortable with that. But it's been something that has changed my life. And I think the one thing that stands out is just how genuine everybody is. Like, nobody comes and there's never a question about where anybody's coming from. Everybody has been they've been themselves, and that has been freeing for me, because I think the one thing I struggle with in large groups is I like to call myself a social chameleon. Like, I can fit in lots of different places, but sometimes I forget who I am. And I have been able to be myself here, and that's been tremendously freeing. And at the same time, like, the accountability that everybody provides each other, but then the celebration that everybody has for all of our successes, no matter what that is. Brad starting a coffee company, Jeff taking us a step in setting up his coaching business, all that stuff that everybody does to celebrate all our successes is, just been, it's so encouraging, when someone takes that step of faith, and everybody's just, surrounding each other with just the support. It's been, I mean, it's been unbelievable. For me, it's really kind of stepped up in the last few months. But I can't say enough about it. All the stuff that we've been talking about tonight in terms of goals and the practical stuff, like, that's all true and it's all amazing, but it's the intangible stuff that has been transformative for me. The stuff that you can tell I'm kind of stumbling over my words. I don't have words for it, is how amazing it's been for me. So I said it'd be quick and I wasn't, but so thank you. But it's been, I hope to see everybody here in the next few weeks, because it really is, it's been an amazing journey. I can't wait to see where we all go.
I'll hit in terms of what it means to me. I prayed in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, for God to put godly men in my life. And first, he had to strip out like all the bad from it, or at least me away from where I would get a bad influence and be like a chameleon, as Chris said. And it's funny to watch and look back how he's added. And now he's just flooded my life with godly men, right? Whether it's here or through 3 of 7 or some other relationships, but it's all centered around God, right? These are all men seeking after God, perfectly imperfect. And like Chris said, it's very authentic, and because it's not about perfection, it's about, the progress that we can continue to make, and giving ourselves grace, each other grace, and then celebrating is really awesome. And the relationships that we develop here when we see each other in different capacities, whether it's at a race or an event or whatever, it just makes that bond that much stronger, right? Because we already know each other from this, and that relationship can get even deeper. It gives the opportunity for that relationship to become even deeper. And then in terms of the questions of the day, they're great starters, or they're a great conversation with your wife to improve that relationship, to the point where we've grown as a husband and wife.
Wow.
And it's not always, oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. It has caused or been a spark for some disagreements that have been healthy with that too, because it helps uncover some feelings that may have been buried there to get them out. So that's what I think about this group, and I'm appreciative and thankful for it, and just everybody in here.
Thanks, Al. Well, I'll share real quick my screen, and then I'll let Jeff share a little bit towards the end. So I'll share so everybody's probably seen this. This is our website. So the actual site, like when you become a member of the council, what we call the council is the brotherhood. That's this right here. These are live calls. Every other week we have a call. Some months are 3 calls a month, some are 2. So it's just every other week. And inside the council, we have a forum. So there's a member site. Most of you probably clicked there and seen this here because you don't have a login yet. So once you get a login, it takes you to our member site. Here it is. And then here it's basically forum style. It's a forum style. So we have just general discussions, book discussions. This is what Hal was talking about. So thank you, Hal. In here under marriage, we post a question of the day for you to they're called 365 questions to connect with your spouse. And so as you can see, some of them are around financial, some of them are just about adventure. Some are very spicy, like which do you prefer to have sex in the morning, afternoon, or evening? So like these are just conversations to have with your spouse.
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what I answered, Brian.
Yes. This one right here, powerful. This share a time when you felt heard and understood. What emotions did you feel? There's other questions that are like, have I ever made you feel unheard or, not cared for or something like that? And yes, yes, and yes on that as well. But just back out here, you can see fatherhood's lacking. So we need some attention here on just kind of helping guys, maybe these are just questions like, I have a question about fatherhood. I could post it in here and get some feedback. Manhood, like what are some things that kind of make you feel manly, you just like to share or whatever? Guns always are good. And then fitness goals, just that way we can kind of hold each other accountable. I put, fitness goals in here, and I put Hellcat, just kind of keeping a log of my experience with that. So there's a lot of things that guys can get involved in and do. Kind of talking on the business side of things. We talked about business tonight. There's a business think tank. So guys that might have questions about it or a business or a business idea, and they want to mastermind. This is kind of like a mastermind. It says, hey, share some ideas, get some feedback from some guys. This is a safe place. You've heard some of the guys inside the council already, that this is a very safe, authentic place. Guys are genuine. They mean well. They want to see you succeed. And I'll say something real quick about that. And that is Stephen Mansfield. I learned this from Stephen Mansfield, and he calls it the free fire zone. And in here, that's what we believe in, the free fire zone, which means that at any point in time, I could say, hey, Brian, when you said that sounded a little off to me. Is everything okay? Or I've never heard you talk about your wife quite like that. Is everything okay with your wife? Chris, man, dude, that came off a little strong. Did you mean that to come off strong? And it's not for me to call you out to be a jerk. It's for me to call you out so I get clarity. Number one, I don't hold any offense. I don't choose to pick up an offense. And I can just, also the other part is so that you get better and I get better. That iron sharpening iron, a little friction there so that we can grow together, because that's the point. Like Kobe Bryant, like Michael Jordan, they bumped their teammates hard. Like they called them out like, dude, you're getting you're beating your chops every time on that ball. Like you got to box them out better or whatever it may be. So that's kind of one of the things I like about in here is just accountability with the dudes, man. And then past calls. So we post all the past calls in here so you can go back and check those calls out. There's a log of them. So if you join, you can always go back and binge watch your own Netflix right here on council calls. So, and then I'll unshare here and I'll share. We also have an app that we meet in on the daily. So you can either do it there on the online, or you can do it right here in the app. And I was going to share my screen now. Let's see here. There we go. So inside here, the blog is just connected to the website. So, but in here you can see that we have posts and this is just in linear form, so it just kind of scrolls through of each post per time, but then you could narrow this down to the category. Let's say I just wanted to look at marriage. I could go through that and then scroll through the questions, or I can pick general and just kind of scroll through and see what they are. Let's see what this one says. Oh yeah, by the way, we have hats. So just for you guys to know.
And of course, Nick's not here.
Yeah, Nick's not here. Nick's been begging us to get hats, so we have hats. Super stoked about that. They're on the website and under merch, so any of you guys can go pick one up if you want. But underneath here, you got events. So it lists the events. We do have a Battle Ready event, which is a live event, March 24th through the 27th in the foothills up here in the Appalachians. So if any of you guys are interested in that, let us know. It's like I said, March 24th through the 27th. So we'll do a big hike one day, getting some physical, we'll get some spiritual stuff going, as well as our soul taking care of all three parts that weekend. So very excited about that. And so
I'm open to carpooling with anyone from the Northeast.
yeah, there you go. So I'll end this, and then Jeff, if you wanted to add anything onto that.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate everybody being on tonight. And I know that we've gone a little longer than we normally do. We try to be respectful of everybody's time, and we do our best to end it in an hour. But what I wanted to do is just a call to action for you guys is, as you were here tonight and you got to experience each other and you got to experience some of the topics that Tim and I tried to bring on a weekly, monthly basis to everyone, is just to think about, when you're planning goals, how often do you invest in yourself? We're all, men that do a lot of different things, and we do a lot of things for other people, because I know a lot of you pretty well, via social media, but I do know that you're all unselfish and you put yourself out there for other people. And I would just challenge you, how often are you investing in yourself? And so often it's a requirement to do that. And I know that whenever I've invested in myself, it's made me show up better, as a Christian, better as a husband and a father, and just as a general human being. And so all the groups I've been a part of fill me up, and Tim and I get filled up every single time that we're a part of this. And we'd love to have you guys join us. And then as we continue to grow, then we're going to add additional call time. So if Monday's not always the best time, again, as we grow, then there'll be more opportunities and options. And we're just excited because we felt very strongly that God called us to put this together, because there's a lot of communities similar to this out there, but there's very few that I'm aware of that are God-centered, where God's the focus. There's some really big ones that are very successful and very beneficial, where they have threads of faith that run through at the bottom, but ours runs through at the top. And that's what's most important to us. And we just hope that you're willing to go on this adventure of life with us and continue to strive to make each other better.
Yeah, I will add, if you have any other questions and you don't want to ask them here on the call, that's cool. I'll share a link down below. This is you can schedule a call with Jeff or I. You can pick either one of us, and just schedule that through the site. And then, yeah, there was one other thing, but I guess it wasn't that important. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, so Battle Ready event. If you want some more information about that, let us know as well. Get you the link. It's actually in our bio on IG, so you can check it out there. I'm going to actually put it on the website here as well. But any questions, guys, before we close in prayer? Because we always like to close in prayer, but I know we talked a lot of, tonight about different things, and so fair game on anything that we just discussed. Any questions? If not, all right. Well, thank you all really for joining us tonight. This is kind of a taste. I mean, we don't always talk goals. We talk about different things. Sometimes we'll have a book, and everybody will get a copy of a book. We'll send it to them, and then we kind of go through it, and then each of us kind of breaks down a chapter. So it gives everybody an opportunity to share their thoughts, their takeaway. And that was one of the big things that Jeff and I wanted to do. This wasn't about us. We wanted you guys, and you saw it tonight. We kind of invested, pulled you guys in, got some feedback from each of you. And it's what we want. We want this, a community, a brotherhood of guys that are learning from each other, not you just calling or dialing in and hearing us talk. So thank you so much for joining us. And we'll close in prayer and then we'll let you on to your evenings. Father God, we just thank you for these mighty men, Lord. We thank you that you are moving in their lives. We thank you, Father, for what you have given us, this opportunity, this platform, this brotherhood, Father, we can actually just sharpen each other and help each other grow as you would have us grow. Lord, I thank you that our focus stays on you, that we put you first in all that we do. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. All right, gentlemen, appreciate it. Thank you all for joining. We'll talk to you soon. Let us know if you have any questions. We'll see you.
Thank y'all.
Oh,
guys.
hey, I forgot.
Thank you, guys.
That's all right. I'll send everybody an email.
Have a good night. Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
You bet. See ya.